And we are live. There it is. Hi, everybody. Welcome in to another installment of Afro Cast. Cast. I don't have like a cool sound thing. Oh, that might be my best. This might be my best sound thing I can do. Afro Cast.
That's a huge bitch.
Oh. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. It's gonna be a shorter one today because at 10:30 I will be on with Geeks and Gamers. We're gonna be doing a game of Fall Guys, and we'll be joined by Madam Savvy, so that'll be great. Gonna completely remove her or make her wish that she never joined in to the Geeks and Gamers crowd. I'm going to not hold back just because she's a girl. In fact, it's better that you don't hold back, because it's sexist if you treat her like she's frail. It's sexist if you treat women like they're frail. You have to be as mean as possible to them. In fact, you have to overcompensate and be meaner to them. And I'm only saying this because Lady Epic's in the room right now, and I'm trying to see if I can elicit a response from her. But she's totally ignoring me right now. But it's funny because I know deep down she can hear me. Deep down in her core. In the chicken grease in her soul, she can hear me. That's a little too dark. There we go. I don't hear that often, too dark, but let's catch up with chat, and then we'll talk about some of the subjects we got for today. JB says, look at Mr. Big Time streaming over Cobra Cast.
That's a huge bitch.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we're you know, if I don't stream because other people are streaming, I'll never fucking stream. You know, everybody's got it. Every fucking week there's somebody with a new show, some new show ideas, some new panel stream, some new fucking idea that they've thrown out, and they're just, you know, streaming at random hours during the day. You just got to pick some time and do it. And because I'm perpetually lazy and also terrible with time management, trying to do one during the afternoon is no bueno. Emily Kruger says, happy Monday. Well, happy Monday, Emily. I keep forgetting it's Monday, honestly. I have no idea what fucking day it is. But I'm trusting Emily. She's never been wrong. It's Monday. Charles Vane says, hail and hello to the cream of the crop. Oh, yeah. Epic Mike. I normally have my sunglasses. They broke, and I have not bought a new pair. And, like, they're still wearable, but, like, the frame cracked. So if I messed around with them too much, like the eye might pop out, like the lens might pop out. And I just don't feel like dealing with it. So Sissy84 says, hey, Epic Meek in chat. Hi, Sissy. Welcome in. Jose Taco says, I'm late because I'm supposed to be studying for my class tomorrow. Study schmuddy. Okay. What you do is you cram half an hour before the test all of the information so that it's fresh in your short-term memory. Okay. And then you drink something like an energy drink of some kind, whether it's a Celsius. Live Fit. I'm not sponsored by them at all. Although I would not say no to a sponsorship by Celsius because I drink a lot of their drinks. Or something like that, like some kind of sugar thing. That way, when you sit down, everything's firing at a fast pace. Okay, and then you have to speed run through your test, because if you don't speed run through the test, you'll forget everything halfway through. That's what I used to do anyways, and it always worked for me. Epic Mazza for $5 says, currently working on a new movie chat about the downfall of Lethal Lightning in gaming. Beardo will play him and Jake the Viking will play Mazza. Wow, that's wild. What a wild concept. Yeah, I've been seeing this about like Lethal. He's like jumping back into Call of Duty one last time, one last ride, because he's too old. Here's the thing. I was originally going to play Call of Duty on stream here. And I was excited about that, and I was playing it because I've been doing kind of well recently, but today is not a day where I have it because I'm sleep deprived, and so I can feel how sluggish and slow my responses are compared to how they used to be, and I'm like, I'm just going to embarrass myself. I need to stop. I'm an old man now. I'm an old man trying to keep up with young bucks, okay? There was a video I saw, I wonder if I can find it, of this guy who got mad at a player in Call of Duty because the dude was like jumping out of windows and stuff during the beta, and he was like, yo, you're being a tryhard or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. and he was like, you need to stop. Like, this is just the beta. Stop doing all this stuff. Like, stop being crazy and stop tripping or whatever. Because you can actually like grab players now and like use them as meat shields, and that's like how he did it. I don't know if I can find it though. Is this it? No, that's not it. It's just the guy like grabs him and uses him as a meat shield. He goes, yo, bro, it's just the beta. Stop. Like, we're all just trying to enjoy this thing. Stop doing try hard shit right now. Just like chill out and enjoy yourself. And I agree, because it feels like that's why I stopped playing Call of Duty in the first place. It just got too insane. If you couldn't keep up with the meta, if you didn't have the meta guns, if you weren't using them, you had a bunch of tryhards fucking slide canceling, fucking figuring out all these stupid new abilities, bunny hop teleporting and shit. And you're like, yo, I'm just trying to shoot my gun. And this guy's like spinning around in circles and shit, which is making his like aimbot pop off. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. Just sick of it. JB says if you dodge a wrench, you can dodge a test. That's true too. Yeah. If you have enough grandmas dying around you, then you can never take tests. Epic Mazda says just confirmed Chris Tyson will also be playing Cream NATO. Yikes. Yikes. That's what a cast. Z Highness says welcome in, peeps. Hi Z Highness, welcome in. Shauna aka Pippin says evening all. What's going on, Shauna? All right, we're gonna speed run saying hi to everybody. Ready? Someone calls beer cooler, give me a hell yeah. Says boo, dog murderer times 4. Don't say that. I'm not a dog murderer. Frank the Tank, welcome in. Appreciate seeing you. Irish Jedi says puppy grease. My soul, that's how you roll. That's not nice. Asian Epic Mike says our hero, hero, brother. So glad you find retry dog. I tell you is delicious. Yum yum. That is fucking wild. Asian Epic Mike. Is that me doing Asian eyes? I've done that enough on the internet that I knew that would come back to bite me. Oh, hero. That don't clip. That's so offensive. Charles Vane says, are you playing Fall Guys with the G&G crew tonight? I am. Hello, Apollo Monopoly. Welcome in. Frank the Tank over on Kick. Shout out Kick Gang. Appreciate you guys. Can't wait to hear you laugh at her. Yeah, we're gonna crush her spirit. Binary Recall, member for 1 month. Hold on, I didn't have my thing ready. Laughed myself to sleep last night. Woke up with your ended stream still on. Well, I'm glad that I could accommodate that. Good, because I have to drive to class at 5:30 a.m. and I need to go to bed early. Damn. Apollo Monopoly, Mike's not eating dogs tonight? Unreal. Yeah, it's wild, bro. It's the man who ate a dog. That's not, I didn't eat a dog. They didn't make the dog into food. I had nothing to eat. He just died. There's a club in my hometown that secretly racist had a code phrase, and when there are too many black people in the club, they say, it's too dark in here. Wild, man. How do you fucking know that, Lord Botha? How did you find that out? What are you doing with your nightlife that you know? Cram it in your cram hole. Yeah, yeah, that's the way to study. My study strategy, take 3 to 4 studying days before the exam. That's nuts. That's way too much work, bro. You just fucking cram it all in there like the day before for a few hours and then speed run it like right before the test. It's the best way. Kier Runte says Afro Meek. What's going on, buddy? Mike deleted that dog because it broke his glasses. Yeah, call it booty, smoke weed, and go to sleep. It's great. Oh, God. Sleep for 12 hours. I don't smoke weed. I don't drink either. So I'm enjoying the Black Ops beta. I am too. I'm actually surprised. The gameplay is really solid. This might be one of the most polished Call of Duties in recent memory. But that's the beta. It'll be interesting to see what the actual game looks like, because it could also fucking spiral. We've seen them spiral out of control really quickly after the game comes out. So it'll be interesting to see how that all goes. The drink in 2000 for school was Surge, the soda that was an energy drink before energy drinks existed. Yeah, Surge was wild, man. That'd have you on some new thing. What am I missing about Dan, says Cobra Prime? Oh, we'll get into that. We'll talk about Dan right away, actually. Call of Duty is only worth it when it's cheap because I like the single-player campaign and zombies modes. Well, the reason I'm excited about it is because it's on Game Pass, and I don't have to spend shit on it. And it's coming out day 1 on Game Pass. Oh, jeez, I see gray hair in here. That's the problem with having so much hair, is you can find things. Like I can find gray hairs or fuzzes, but then it's really hard to get them out. Wish Lady Epic was here to get my gray hair out of my hair. Dingar Renegade says, let's do this! Hell yeah. I like multiplayer games and hackers. I don't either. Hi, Miss Rough Knight. Welcome in. And hello, Mr. Rough Knight as well. Good to see you. Turd Ferguson, what's going on? Cellular Dream, hello. Kamikaze, Bunny Hop, Teleport, 360 no slope, headshot, tube nuke, noob tube nuke. Yeah, fuck that. Vex Fear says arf arf knife. Oh no, and it was actually 2 knives. Lacist. Oh no. God damn it. Daniel Live says, "Ayo, chat. Hi, Epic Meek. What's going on, Daniel Live? Welcome in, buddy. All right, we're caught up now. Tell the boss we got a code, Black Ice. Have you ever hid things in your afro? Yeah, I can hide things in my afro. I don't have any pencils right here. Got a pencil or pen, or if Lady Epic was willing to give me a pencil or a pen. I'm looking at her right now to see if she hears me. Could I get a pencil or pen from you? You can make a little cameo on stream. Just your hand. You don't. It doesn't have to be anything else. Everybody likes the hand cameos. Hide drugs in your afro, like meth. Jesse, it's time to cook. And then when they're like searching my vehicle for weed, they don't know that it's in my hair. And then when the officer goes to look at my hair, he finds out that it is a bottomless pit, and he reaches in there, and it's actually like a what's it called, ethereal space. No, they want to see your hand, like just on the shoulder right here. She always like, there's so much anticipation she builds up to it. Just a little cameo, it's right here. People like to see your hand. The chat is asking for it. They're like, hey, can we see your hand? They would be asking for it, but I'm asking for it just right here. Yay! All right, so I'll show you. Vexfear says we're not. No, we aren't. He's lying. She's not reading the chat, so she can't tell. Can't confirm. No one asked. That's wild. All right, so I'll show you guys how this looks. All right, we'll put it in here. Look at that. It's gone. And what I'll do is I will leave it in there for the whole stream, and I will forget that it's in there, and it'll pop out of my hair at some point and scare the shit out of me. It's happened before. So, all right, there we go. The dog thing was legitimately kind of upsetting, which made it any funnier. Dude, I did not like any of that. I was not happy about it. I didn't have fun with it. I didn't like it, but the chat was laughing so hard. Where did it go? It's a magic trick, and it's gone. Vex Fear says Beardo does the same, but in his butt. It's wild. That's fucking wild. All right, let me close this out. I just want to hide that. Okay, so the first topic we're going to talk about, we're going to get into briefly. Our buddy Dan, we all know, he's from Brazil. Brazil is currently, ooh, if I turn my head this way, you can see the pen. Brazil currently is has banned X in their country, and if you utilize a VPN to use X in their country and they find out you're using a VPN, they will fine you almost $9,000. And as we learned yesterday from one of our wonderful viewers, the gross, that is higher than the gross median income of most people in Brazil. So the fear that is there is that they will target also the like poor people or poorer people, you know, and that is almost always a goal, is if you can target the poor people and then you make them mad at rich elites, you know, people that would have access to using a VPN or would have the most benefit from using a VPN, and you punish poor people, then you'll make it's like the rats in the maze. They get zapped when they go for cheese. And for people that don't know, there's an experiment where basically they did it with chimpanzees as well. Do the chimpanzee one instead. So they did a chimpanzee thing where they had these bananas, and whenever they'd go to touch the bananas, they would get zapped, and they would all get zapped every time they tried to touch the banana. And so eventually they stopped going for the banana. They were scared of them. Okay. And then they introduced a new chimp that had none of those preservation instincts. And when he went to go touch the banana, the other chimps attacked him. Okay. That's what they do to poor people. They get you in the plebeians, the vox populi, is they get you to target the people that actually pose a threat to them, and then you get mad and you defend, you fight against whatever they're trying to do, because it means that you're going to suffer more for it. It's kind of a fucked up thing. So, but our boys Dan Vasc posted this today. Shout out to him because we love Dan. Just want to make sure I'm not doxing myself. So yeah, this went out to Dan Vasc. Give me liberty or give me death. I know Dan is been trying to get out of Brazil for a while now, but just him calling out what's happening in Brazil, a lot of Brazilians are. The more wild thing about this is that these people are in this country and they're saying, hey, like, this is bad. This is a bad thing that's happening in our country. We don't want this. We don't want it to be like this. We don't want to deal with any of this. It's awful. It's the worst. And our government is infringing on people's freedoms and people's rights. And there are people dumb enough, like the Act Man, to try to fucking defend this. You know, it's kind of similar to the whole thing with Australia, where they're putting people in these camps to help them protect them from the unspecified virus from unknown origins, and it was putting people in like these camps, and then they're like, no, those camps don't exist, or that's not a thing, nobody's actually doing that. But they were actually doing that. You had a bunch of fucking people that weren't from that country and shit like that, or people that used to one time live in that country going, oh, that doesn't happen, that's not a thing, that never happened, you guys are making it up, it's not that bad. And they're like, no, we're actually here in this fucking country and it is that bad, leave us alone, like, shut the fuck up. So let's hope for Dan that he gets the fuck up out of the country. And then while we're at it, I'm gonna pull this up because we're here. It's a shitty quality, but we all know what's happening here. And this is mostly for the ladies and the gay men. There's a GIF of Dan Vasc walking along a beach, flipping his fucking hair back. Look at that stud. Look at him. He knows what he's doing. Some attractive cougar, wealthy cougar out there is going to snatch that man up and get him out the fuck up out that country. He's going to get airdropped out and back into America. That's how they're going to get him. So shout out to everybody over in Brazil for dealing with that. I hope that there will be a swift and decisive end to all of the things happening there, not just with Twitter, but in general. I hope they get good leadership. So as if Mike begged for it, it's true. The only people using X is the government. I'm using X. Oh, you're talking about, over there. I was gonna say, what? I'm not part of the government. Can you put Disney Star Wars in your hair and make it disappear forever? Unfortunately, no. There are some things that even my hair doesn't have the power to do. How can they find out you're using a VPN? It doesn't matter. They just will assume, they'll probably just pull up your hard drive or pull up your computer and say, hey, we looked through your stuff. We had reasonable, probable cause or whatever, which they don't give a fuck about that over there. They'll just pick people that they think are political opponents. And they'll, try to say, hey, you're using a VPN or whatever. They'll just find different people for it. The biggest thing, like I said, is to weaponize this against the normal population, so they go after people, and then they can try to get people to call out their political opponents. Because if you get the people to fight against it, then it self-regulates. You don't have to really follow through with it until somebody reports something, or hey, I saw somebody using this, or hey, I saw somebody using it here, or hey, there's reasonable suspicion that you're using it here, whether there is or isn't, so they can go after the people that they think are problematic in their country. It's fucked up. So when you track a VPN, it's the point of a VPN is to hide your location. I get you. It's all to scare people. It's to scare people. And to stop people from being informed, because they have to control the narrative. That's really what it all comes down to. It's about controlling a narrative. It's about stopping people from being informed. And it's knowing that X doesn't have, the regulations on it, and doesn't have the ability to be influenced. They can't go and lie to the people that work in X and say, this is bad for the country. The information, the misinformation is terrible. Oh, we need to stop this from happening, blah, blah, blah. It's like, nobody's listening to you. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, you're not going to manipulate the audiences, and you're not going to manipulate the people at X like they used to be able to. So yeah, it's kind of nuts. I love that Brazilian cops are going to crack down on VPN users and not the horrific violence from gangs in the favela. Based. Yeah, right? Why try to fix the actual crimes in your country when you can go after people using the internet? Pretty nuts. Sorry, I'm trying to type here at the same time that I'm trying to multitask. So yeah, man, like I said, shout out to Dan Vasc. He's a real one. He's a fucking icon. And I know that he's not going to stay quiet about not going after and not talking about what's going on in his country. He's always been vocal about calling people out in the bullshit that goes on in his country, and I just hope for safety for him while all of that is going down. So in positive news, I mean, it's still sad, but it's funny as shit. Today is Labor Day. A lot of people knew that. A lot of people got the day off from work today. Oh yeah, and Cabrutus, I forgot that Cabrutus was in Brazil as well. They both need to get the fuck up out of here. So Rough Knight says definitely funded by the CIA and other intelligence agencies for the sake of the drug trade. Yeah, 100%, man. GIF, yeah, I said GIF. Not a dry panty in the house. No. That's wild, dude. Extract the Vasc. That's actually a good one. Wolf Chat stands strong against canine oppression. There's no canine oppression here. We like dogs. Afrocast is a strong proponent of dog ownership and dog protection. Okay. Anyways, I thought this shit was funny as fuck. Today is Labor Day, and so who should decide to reach out on Labor Day and tweet on Labor Day but our old pals at Blockbuster, giving all our employees the day off to celebrate Labor Day. That was the most wild tweet I think I've seen today. That shit made me laugh so hard. And then what my favorite is that Wall Street Bets then commented on them and was like, bring back Blockbuster. I miss Blockbuster. I don't know that I would do anything with it if they came back, but I miss Blockbuster. I miss video stores. I miss going to the store on a weekend and renting movies that I've never seen before, and then renting brand new movies. Like renting like old movies that I'd never seen before and then renting brand new movies. I miss the experience, but I also don't like leaving my house anymore. And so like actually doing that sounds terrifying. So what's up, my creative arsenal? Welcome in. I heard Dan now is the leader of his local favela. It's all shirtless guys walking in slow motion. That's fair. People would steal from Blockbuster. People stole from all the movie places. Rolando A. Ramirez for $5 says, you see that side scrollers vid talking about a game called Cat Park that was U.S. tax funded and tries to teach people how to call out misinformation. I have not heard about Cat Park. Interesting. Let's pull this up. Jamie, pull that up. I don't have a producer. There's no Jamie. I'm the Jamie. Cat Park. Okay, so this is like about an hour, or I mean, an hour, a year old, it looks like. Obviously, this is going to spark a whole new thing in. This is going to spark a whole new awareness of government-funded games, which I think is justifiable. I think people need to be informed of what's happening. People need to know. I am the Jamie. I am the Jamie. Is Amanda Miller ever coming back and doing live streams with you? She is so fucking busy right now. And I would love to. I know she misses doing the streams and stuff. And we talked about maybe doing one a month or something, but then my life was insane as well. I will keep in touch with her, because if we can bring back like even once a month live streams, we will. Or if I just have her show up on my show and hang out a little bit. I miss Amanda. I know a lot of people miss Amanda. We love hanging out with her. So I'll reach out to her and see what I can find out. So yeah. I miss the grocery store movie rental. Yeah, I do too. Tell one of your kids to be Jamie. Yeah, I'll make my kids like have a secondary laptop. Pull that up. Pull up the stuff. No, look it up. I don't care if you don't know how to spell it. Do it. Do the FSU game is depressing. Well, Michigan won their game, and that's all that matters to me. So, the Horror of One, welcome in, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I will keep you in touch. So, Freddie Delgado says, kids today will never understand that feeling. It's true. I miss when she was on tabletop. Me too. She was an excellent tabletop player. If I had to like choose based on our like internet circle, like a gaming stream that I would be really interested in either watching or participating in, it would be like Disparu, Amanda Miller, Madam Savvy, Arudai, There's a lot of other people too that I mean I've streamed with that it would be fun. Maybe Quarter Black Garrett. That would be like a stream that I'd find really interesting. All the people I've played with are great. I thought, you know, Ryan takes to it like water. Jeremy did a great job with it. Sevi is great. You know, there's a lot of people, you know, Steph and Tugs are doing a great job over on Curse of the Crimson Throne. Just about everybody that I've gamed with on Geeks and Gamers Tabletop. And then some of the streams that I haven't been on, like some of the Star Wars game, stuff like that, all of those streams are fantastic. They're doing a really good job over there. But there's a couple people that I would really like to get into a longer campaign that I feel like did a great job, but just didn't get a chance to really flex their muscles. So, yeah. Mike visits Blockbusters frequently. That's wild, dude. That's wild. Maybe Ryan, but I just don't know if Ryan would actually want to do like a year-long campaign. Ryan is so busy all the time that like I would love for him to do it, you know, because he did a great job, but I just don't know if he has the time, and that's the unfortunate part about it, you know. But anyways, we're gonna pull this up real quick. So we're gonna check out this cat park, which is supposed to help combat misinformation or some shit like that. Let's check this fucking out. This is from a year ago. Cat Park. Oh boy.
This is Cat Park, an exciting new game to improve media literacy. As players unravel the curious case of the cat park, they learn about emotional headlines, manipulative memes, fake images, and more, all concerning a crazy conspiracy about cats. Cat Park is the result of multiple studies into inoculation theory by the University of Cambridge. Serious games against disinformation have been scientifically proven to improve recognition of disinformation by 21%. Unlike other methods like debunking by fact-checking, games are fun, interactive, and actively build the skill to recognize disinformation. Use Cat Park to raise awareness, start conversations, and defend communities against online propaganda. Check out the info sheet for educators on the game's website for more ideas. Available meow for free at catpark.game. The truth has whiskers.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
The truth has whiskers. I want to hit my desk so bad, but if I hit my desk, I will undoubtedly disconnect something and fuck up the whole stream. They used our tax dollars to make this game. They used our money to make this bitch. And they paid somebody money. Paid money to say this line. And listen to how smug and happy she is about it. Listen.
The truth has whiskers.
Spent my tax dollars, your tax dollars, to make this game. No, this isn't a parody. This is real. University of Cambridge was involved in this. They can come back after they release the JFK files and come clean about Roswell. Well, see, I would respect the game if you start digging into it. By the way, what's up, Gatekeeper? Welcome in, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're safe. Hope you've been safe on the road, bro. You said, oh, it's finally home. Excuse me. Well, I'm glad you're home, man. That was definitely was a cat lady. Yeah, and this was definitely made by a cat lady, yeah. I heard it was a European country that paid, not the U.S., if I'm correct. That would surprise me, but the thing is, here it is. The Department of State, United States of America, is an official fucking seal on this game. Well, not my tax dollars exactly, but I get your point. My man. If it had to be tax dollars, couldn't there be boobs? Well, that's what I'm saying. I might have put this game in schools. Yeah, well, it pushes propaganda. That's fucking wild, dude. This is 100% serious. Never wanted to drink bleach harder in my entire life after watching that trailer. Yeah. So my cat is a government spy? Well, always was. Always was a government spy. Lick my balls from the back. I quite dislike this. Bro, that's so fucking crazy. Family Video was where it was at. $3.50 for a new release, $1 favorites, and 50 cents for everything else. Yeah, and free kids movies, bro. I shouldn't go to the website. Right? I should stay away from the website. I shouldn't go on the website. Right? Hold on, I want to dox myself here. Catpark.game. I shouldn't do this. Oh no. Oh man. Oh no. Oh no. Why can't I hear it? Why can't I hear it? Why can't I hear any of it? Why can't I hear what's happening here? Disinformation my balls. Why can't I hear the sound? Welcome to Cat Park. This game is best experienced with the audio enabled. So good news is this is your brand new apartment. And the bad news? Bad news is you are from out of town and you have no friends. All right, that's enough of that. We're not doing that anymore. I'm going to stop whatever that was before it gets worse. I'm going to have to run through this fucking game, though. I'm going to save this. Chat, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to play this game. I don't know how long it is, and I don't think we have enough time to play it right now, but we are definitely going to have to play Cat Park, the video game. Yep. What is this? Devor DevSec, counter disinformation technology advisor. Is this a real thing? Holy shit, hold on. Is this... No way. This guy is breaking down the game on Games for Change. That's a real... No, that's the full game, guys. That's the full game. Bro, there's a whole video about this shit now? Oh, no.
Or learn tricks like other pets. Have you ever asked yourself why cats are treated like internet royalty and what's really going on behind those whiskers? You'll find answers to these urgent questions and more in an exciting new game launching this summer. Hi, I'm Devor Devchechek, contractor with the U.S. Department of State's Global Engagement Center, the GEC. The GEC leads the U.S. government's efforts to understand and counter foreign disinformation and propaganda. As part of that mission, we have developed seriously fun games that foster media literacy and help inoculate global populations against disinformation. You might have heard of our first game, Harmony Square.
Hi, I'm Ron Bordeaux, and I'd like to introduce you to my town, Harmony Square.
Oh, and there's a fucking commercial! God damn it, YouTube! I'd rather be playing this game.
For its love of pineapples, swans, and democracy. And you are going to mess it all up. You play the role of a chief disinformation officer, and your job is to destabilize the community using nothing more than your wits, your keyboard, and a social media.
Are you hearing what this is saying to you? Listen to that. This is literally the plot of Dustborn. A chief disinformation officer. Are you hearing this?
Job is to destabilize the community using nothing more than your wits, your keyboard, and a social media account.
Harmony Square is a whimsical text adventure fun for all ages, but it's also a training exercise for players 15 and up to defend themselves against common types of political disinformation.
15 and up. This is what they want. This is how they get started, bro. Listen, they're seeding it now. They need kids to understand this. I guarantee there are places where they're playing this in schools. They're playing this and making kids play this. They're teaching them now because if they can get these kids on board now, early on, and say, "Hey, listen, this is what we're doing. We have a chief disinformation officer. They'll show up at your front fucking door. Hey, you've been spreading misinformation on the internet. You gotta stop." Okay, they're already doing it right now over in the fucking UK. You've offended somebody. You said a bad thing. Bro, they do not care. Listen, you guys know me. I'm not political. I try not to be political. But I'm telling you guys, this is really important to understand. If you guys didn't already understand, I know a lot of you already get this. If this is what they're showing you, if this is what they're openly showing you is happening, this is the stuff that they are leading with, if this is the stuff they're putting in the public space that you see, then the shit that they have going on behind the scenes, the thing that they are not showing you that they're doing, the things that they're pushing that you don't realize that they're pushing, because some of it is very obvious. But here's the thing. That's actually like, even that itself is a psyop. Because they know better than to just play their hand and show everything that they have. Okay? They know better. But they know if this is what they show you and this is what you get upset about and this is what you start to try to fight and counteract, you're going to miss the other stuff that they have going on. But the other part of it, and this is important too, because it's two in one hand, one in the other, is the people that are not smart enough to understand, the people that have been emboldened and believe that they're the powers that be and they have the power to be able to enact these policies and to do things like this, they're going to show their hand, okay? And if they're not put in check, they will push whatever they can push with whatever authority that they have been given. It's both, okay? It's a multiple pronged war that's happening here, okay? This is way more than counterculture. This is not a culture war, okay? This is a conversation about actual information. It's a conversation, and it's a literal, like, we're literally looking at how they structure the narrative around children and how they structure the narrative around creating an entire generation of people that use certain terms and use certain ways and have certain ways of thinking about how free speech is, what free speech actually is, not what it really is, but what they say it actually is. Because remember, the part of this is we have to combat misinformation. We have to stop people from saying things and saying the wrong things, because that's really important. But also, people should be able to be free to do and live however they want without any kind of consequence, without any kind of social consequence. Okay? It's both. And it leads ultimately to completely controlled speech and thought policing. That's really what it gets even worse and into, is thought policing. Because eventually it has to be, you look like or you sound like the kind of person that may think this way about something. How can we deal with it before it even happens? How can we stop hate crimes from happening before they even happen? How can we suss out the people that will eventually become somebody out that it will be problematic? Okay, we found out that these people had children, and if they have children, that's not good. We have to stop them, because that's why they've been pushing so hard. This is a thing that is happening in a lot of states, and not just blue states, all over the United States, that your children don't belong to you, they belong to the state. That your children belong to the state, that children's rights, all of that stuff, are given to them by the state, that their parents are not their protectors, that their parents are simply are placeholders for the state. And that if you're not raising your children correctly, if you're not properly going through the right channels to teach them about misinformation, if you're not teaching them the correct political leanings and the correct political usages of words and speech, that they'll take your kids away from you so that they can educate them correctly. It's fucked up. Gay Carpenter says Cat Park is right next to re-education camp. 100%. Yep, 100%, man. 3 to 4 times worse. Those who try to counter and disappear. Yeah, but they're not showing you / targeting white children specifically for trans indoctrination, paying off adults to do it. It's a lot worse than that, man. It's a lot worse than that. Yes, Mike, work on some kind of gaming podcast with those names you mentioned. Yeah. It only takes one generation to completely uproot a country. Yeah, it's true. Game looks like it was written by the pink professor from Harry Potter. Yeah. Dolores Umbridge. Listen, man. You think about it. Like the reality of that. Like if you look at what was going on in like even Harry Potter, that's a great example of somebody who started out. She's like, hey, there's not enough structure here, there's a lot of this, and there's not enough discipline, there needs to be more of this and more of that, and eventually you have an entire wall of rules that bans every specific thing and every specific action that happens that is not agreed upon. You know, people become drones. They just do what the state tells them to do. Why learn practical application of magic in defense against the dark arts when you can just read a textbook that tells you how to do it? Because obviously the textbook is going to teach you correctly, right? And nobody combats these people because they have the full backing of the government. The only way it changes is for people that have actual power, that have real influence and real power, to stop worrying about having that power taken away from them and utilize that power and put themselves in harm's way. And a lot of people don't do that because a lot of people, once they've acquired power, fear losing it. When they've acquired wealth, fear losing it. And like, guys, it's important to understand, Elon Musk is not a perfect person. Okay, there are no perfect people. Elon Musk is not a perfect person. He has, you know, he doesn't, everything he thinks, everything he believes is not correct. Okay. And anybody that says it is, that's the thing. A lot of times we put people on pedestals, and that's a problem, because the idea is not about pedestals. It's not about putting one person in front of the masses as a person to lead us into something. Okay. That time has stopped. That time is over. You know, it's not even just about a man instilling an idea into a people and those people carrying through with that idea, because that's something that gets taught to us a lot. You know, like a symbol, an image, things like that. It has to be the collective. It has to be groups of people that are all standing and defending each other. It is not just about one leader together fighting, you know, leading the charge and everybody backing that person up. That part of it is important. It is important to back up the people that have the influence to help you and want to help you in society. Okay, that part of it is important. We should be supporting Elon Musk. We should be wanting to see, you know, Twitter grow and become a space where people can talk about things and where it extols free speech. We should be extolling platforms that focus on free speech and focus on the real idea behind free speech, which is not just well, people can say whatever they want, you know, or whatever, but are helping to platform a myriad of people that have different ideas and different concepts, and not just when it comes to political stuff. It has to be all kinds of things. Okay, this is really important. Like, you guys got to understand this. Okay, you cannot put it all on Elon Musk's shoulders. Okay, it is about, like, and I'm using the term like from 300 because it's a movie term, but like that the shield wall, us all protecting each other with our strengths, knowing, you know, you can't obviously have 150,000 people that all like are going to protect each other. Everybody's going to have different attitudes and feelings and stuff like that. But realizing what the strengths that lie in the people that are around you and what they're good at and what they're not good at and where their weaknesses are, and being able to protect each other in that way. Okay, it's why when you look at like in like you know, in the Christian faith, there's a concept about like iron sharpening iron. You know, it's about like community, and it's about being oriented in the community and lifting your brother up when you find your brother overtaken in a fault. You know, because the idea is, it's not about correcting bad behavior all the time. It's not about one person being the right person and everybody else around them correcting all the people that are wrong, because that's what happens a lot. That's what happens in, like, that's one of the problems in the structure in churches in general, is that everybody looks to one person to have all the answers for things. That's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to be one person, multiple people with multiple jobs and multiple strengths and multiple abilities, all working in tandem to help lead a group of people. And when there is problems or issues that we can solve in-house, and it's not about correcting behavior, necessarily. It's about going, hey, how can we help lift you up and utilize your strength and help you grow stronger in the things you're strong in, and help shore up the places that you're weak in, so we can all help each other. Okay, because that's why you run into situations in churches where you have these like massive mega churches, where you have these massive like leaders in the church, and then you find out years after they died, or years later when they've retired and stuff, that they were out there diddling kids, or out there, you know, getting hand jobs in massage parlors, and or embezzling funds from people and stuff, because they run roughshod and they run completely unchecked, because everybody leaves all of the answers to them. Okay, a man cannot be an island unto himself. And then if you actually think about the implication, it is not good for man to be alone. Like, and yeah, that's in the context of marriage or whatever, and having a helpmeet. But like, it's also, or helpmate, it's also about, man, it is not good for man to be alone, because if we're all the collective sum of a creator, then no one person is perfect in that regard. And so we all have to protect each other. Okay? Same way with what's going on in society today. It's about us protecting each other. And that's why there's so many things right now that are causing division. We can't even agree within our own communities. Like, we can't even agree as gamers, hey, we just want this from video games. Like, now that is a growing thing that's happening now. People are starting to be able to disseminate what we really want is like quality gaming. Like, in quality gaming can look like a lot of different things, but the argument that's being made is, no, what you want is X, Y, or Z, and it's like, nope, nobody said that. Nobody's saying that. That, like, don't put words in our mouths. But that's the thing. The idea of combating misinformation, the idea of combating thoughts, is to gaslight everyone into believing that what you're fighting for is X. It's a common debate tactic too. So like, you'll be arguing, you could be arguing with somebody, and like, this is the joke, but like, you're arguing the price of tea in China, and somebody goes, well, China is a communist government, and so you shouldn't be buying tea from China. And now you're arguing about the merits of buying tea from a communist government, when the argument was actually about the price of tea in China. That's all it was. It's a simple argument. You know, this happens a lot, you know, and then you find yourself going off on all these rabbit trails and arguing these other things that aren't the actual debate that you were going in on. And then they can, because you're getting led all these places, unless you are an expert on the subject matter, okay, and also unless you're an expert in debate tactics and knowing exactly how to bring back the argument to where it's supposed to be, then they catch you and they got you, and they go, oh, what, you didn't know who the second in command in China was? Wow, you obviously don't know anything about the subject. I've won this debate. It's over. It's like, nope, that's not what we were arguing about. We're arguing about the price of tea in China. What is the price of tea in China? Like, that's how this all works. Okay? It's a lot. Like I said, it's a multifaceted thing that's happening, and it's extremely difficult to keep it all straight, or keep it all organized in your head. By the way, Wicked, thank you for the raid over on Kick. Welcome in, Kick people. I appreciate you. Love my Kick audience. Love Kick as a platform. Have a great time over there on that platform as well. Shout out to my Kick people. We're talking about thought policing and all of this stuff and how to get past it. If you have a group of people around you that all know how to support you and how to support things, then they'll come to your aid and they'll come to your defense when somebody is trying to misrepresent an argument or misrepresent a conversation that happens. And that's really important. We have to have each other's backs during all of this. It doesn't mean that we have to accept everything that everybody does or say, nope, this person cannot be flawed or anything. But that's the other thing, is what happens is you'll have somebody in your circle that does make a mistake or is flawed. And I'm not saying like a mistake like doing something egregiously bad, but I'm saying something like, hey, this person made a mistake, or this person was wrong about this subject, or this person was incorrect in this situation, or whatever. And then they try to hang the helm of shame on that one person. Like, so the outside forces are going, oh my God, look at how messed up that is. Look how screwed up that is, blah, 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 blah. And then what happens is people go, we don't really want that heat, or we don't know how to deal with that. Like, or, oh man, you were wrong. Like, but you know, and so then the response is, nope, let's double down and try to defend that person. And instead of acknowledging they were wrong and then defending that person from, yeah, but they're still part of our community and we still got their backs. It's, let's argue against that person. Let's figure out how to like either justify that person's position. And this is what I mean by like Elon Musk is not right about everything. You can't look at Elon Musk and think he's right about everything that he says. You have to be able to call him out when he's wrong, because he needs that accountability so he can grow as a person, because he's not an island unto himself just because he has billions of dollars. Now, he did something very important. He utilized his money and his status to do something by buying X and trying to make it a platform for free speech. So when you see people on here arguing, man, he's really destroyed this app, or man, Twitter's an awful place, blah, 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 that's not really what's happening, because arguably Twitter's in a better place than it ever has been, because it's now a platform for free speech and the government isn't able to influence it. Okay, him refusing to silence, you know, because I saw somebody saying like Elon Musk failed the trolley problem with this whole Brazil thing because they wanted like 20 people or 7 people. I don't remember what the number was. I think maybe it was 7 people to be removed from X. And if they didn't remove those people from X, that they were going to ban the entire app. People go, man, this is like the 3rd biggest user base on your app. What are you trying to do here? Why are you not giving into this? And it's because it's a bastion for free speech. You shouldn't be removing people off the platform just because they're spreading misinformation. You shouldn't be removing people from a platform because they don't agree with the government that's in power in a country. If you kowtow to that, then what else will you kowtow to? It's important. It's really important to understand that. So, but that doesn't mean he's right about everything. You know what? He was also going to these weird fucked up billionaire parties with Amber Heard where she was, you know, having men bow to her, and she was bringing in young actresses and young models and stuff like that to get thrown to the wolves and become meat puppets for these fucking billionaire orgies. You don't believe me? Go look that shit up. It was a real thing that got talked about. Real thing that got reported on, that he was with her going to these billionaire parties and doing all this shit and going on all these orgies and doing all this crazy shit. And everybody was like, whatever. Like, we're over it. It's kind of a mess, man. We got to stop trying to glorify people and make people blameless and faultless just because they have a position that helps our position. We also got to stop demonizing people for not being perfect. You know, Rolando A. Ramirez for $2 US. Mike, do you know why Brazil wanted them banned? I remember a couple of different reasons, but I know that one of them was because they were political opponents, specifically to the judge that was the one that pulled the trigger on the banning. But I don't have all the different reasons why. If you know them, you're welcome to share them in chat, because the thing is, I am not an expert on everything that has to go with this. I'm not an expert on everything that has to do with these subjects, but I try to read about them, try to know what I'm talking about when I go into them or have conversations about them. So, and that's the other thing. I'm also not above being corrected. Like, if somebody says, hey, that's actually not true, or here's what happened, or here's like, actually, this is more accurate to what's going on, like, that's fine. That doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't need to be I'm not an expert on things. I typically am not political, and I try not to be political about everything. So people that do know more about me are willing to engage in conversation with me about stuff that I don't know. Like, I'm happy to, like, you know, hear that and have that kind of conversation. So I just realized I didn't put a thumbnail on the stream. Ray Glendinning says, I'm on Low and Boo Oktoberfest and it's 3 a.m. So if I talk shit, sorry. Dude, that's rad. You're at Oktoberfest? Oktoberfest. So, what's important is we are becoming more like George Orwell's story, 1984. His story trying to warn us about this. Yeah, 100%. It's important. BRICS. I've never heard of BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Judge has serious backing. Damn. It's kind of nuts, man. So yeah, I don't know. That's my little political rant. But this actually leads into my next conversation. I thought this was really interesting. So I'm gonna pull up the tweet that I have here that I shared. So there was a game journalist who decided to take it upon themselves to go after Black Myth Wukong. So I want to talk about this. We're gonna pull up the article as well. I'm gonna bring them up because it is important. Please do not go harass this person. Okay, I'm not doxing this person. They are a games journalist, so it is important that we talk about this. So, all right, here we go. So this is Shannon Lau, I believe is how you say her name. Inverse gaming editor, bylines at New York Times, WAPO, I don't know what that is, Washington Post, and CNN. and then does games journalism. Okay, so this person came out a couple days ago. Hold on. God damn. Let me pull this down. There we go. Wrote about how Chinese nationalism and Gamergate gators likely got together to push out massive sales of an ultimately mediocre game, Black Myth Wukong. I also dived into the IGN report from last year and verified the translations myself, because that was part of the controversy. Was some of the developers, some things that they said that were really controversial. Once again, this is part of the thing that I thought was interesting with this. And all the replies just continue to prove the point of the story, to be honest. But this right here, this is the first story I've written in a while that has Chinese users spamming questions, questioning my ability to speak Chinese. Angry users are trying to gaslight me into wondering whether or not I'm not Chinese enough. That's how you know I'm presenting the truth, and it struck a nerve. Okay, this is why this is important to understand. Okay, arguing whether or not somebody knows Chinese. Now, there's a fine line on this, because this is kind of similar to the what happened with Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed, and how there was like this expert in Japanese culture that was talking about Yasuke and trying to explain to people how Yasuke actually was a samurai and how people didn't understand it. And then it came out, oh shit, never mind. Like, this guy didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, had no authority on the subject that he was talking about, and now he's been exposed, and then he fucking disappeared off the internet. That's important, okay? It is important to vet the people that are trying to spread information, trying to say they're an expert, or trying to promote themselves, purport themselves as an expert on a subject, okay? But to argue that somebody doesn't know enough Chinese, trying to argue, you know, if it's one thing if it's arguing translation. You translated this incorrectly, here's why. It's another thing to be like, you're not even Chinese. Same thing as stupid people that say shit like, oh, well, you're not black enough to talk about this subject. Now, sometimes that is the case. Sometimes you got people walking around being like, yo, black this and black that and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And they don't look black. Like, that, you know, it needs to have, there needs to be a conversation about your experience and who you are and where your experiences come from, things like that. But the idea of just dismissing somebody and saying like, well, you're not black enough to have that conversation, or you're not Chinese enough to actually know that kind of stuff will lead to them using that as a victim narrative. They will inevitably take that as a victim narrative instead of and this is the part of the debate that I was talking about. They will shift it now to, see, I'm being told I'm not Chinese enough, I'm being told that I don't know enough Chinese to have this conversation or talk about these translations, and I'm being victimized and I'm being attacked for that kind of stuff. That kind of shit will lead to them shifting the argument to something that it is not about. It is about the translations. It is about whether or not this statement, this opinion piece about Gamergate gators and the Chinese government getting together to boost the sales of a game, boost the sales of Black Myth Wukong because they didn't like it. That part is important part. To have a conversation about that, not to have a conversation about whether or not they're Chinese enough to have the conversation. Okay? It's important. You gotta understand where you're picking your fights at. So I'm going to pull this up real quick. This is the article that they wrote. And a lot of this comes down to they just didn't like the game, which I think is really fucking funny. But it's important, and I do want to read it because I do want to have a conversation about it. And keep in mind, I have not played Black Myth Wukong yet, so I have no, conversation about the quality of the game. But I will talk about what I've heard, and I will talk about some of the points that they make in this article because I think it's important. And obviously this is an opinion piece, so don't get so upset about my opinion. It's like, no, you made an accusation. So, and Binary Curriculum says opinion cannot be rationalized in English unless the speaker provides context. And so that's important. So in Black Myth Wukong, after I crushed a nasty snake boss, the game's heroic monkey protagonist, which once again is funny how they're like framing this like it's not Sun Wukong, like not a fucking legendary like literary character. The game's heroic monkey protagonist triumphantly marched through the temple gates only to find another boss. I weirdly trounced this bear boss too, but what I really wanted was new characters to chat with or a nice spot to lay my head. Perhaps in the game's next chapter, no shot. I walked forward only to enter another area full of aggressive beasts and visually appealing swaths of barren wasteland. Now, this right here was one of the things I really focus in on right here. This whole conversation. This is specifically a taste. The game is a beat 'em up. It's a beat 'em up RPG. It is not an in-depth it's not Baldur's Gate 3. It is not some in-depth game where you're going around going, oh, I'm interacting with all these characters, having a good time. It's a beat 'em up game. It's a beat 'em up. That's the point. So people getting upset about this person specifically trying to call out the game and say that it's not good, like, this is a personal taste thing. Is the game more my speed? No. But like arguing and having this conversation of like, oh, you know, I didn't have a chance to go talk with characters. I didn't have a chance to rest. It was just another area full of bad guys and another boss to fight. It's like, yes, that's how beat 'em ups work. That's how action games work. Surprise, surprise. Also, I want to read some of what Ray Glendinning or Rolando Ray Ramirez says. Mike, is the fact that this person said their translation of the sexist comments were 100% true, then many Chinese people said, no, that's not what it's supposed to mean. That part is important. That part is the conversation that can be had and that they do need to talk about. And I do think that that's important. My point is about when people say, well, you're not Chinese enough to talk about this game, or you're not Asian enough to have this conversation. And it's like, okay, instead of arguing it from that angle, argue about the actual merit of the translation. That's important. No, this is not Paul Twatty. This is Shannon Lau. After 10 years of game development, Chinese developer Game Science Black Myth Wukong has had a viral reception, a Tencent minority investment, and unbelievable success on Steam. But while sinking a dozen hours into Black Myth, I couldn't help but think of how gamers over the years would have complained if Elden Ring or Diablo 4 contained such a sparse amount of content. Wukong's world feels empty and devoid of life. If that sounds familiar, I'm echoing what some players said about Starfield last year, another 60-plus hour RPG saga, which ironically had loads of side quests and was, in fact, much livelier than the internet might have you believe. Okay, so once again now, like, this is like, it's funny. So you go into this saying, oh, there's not enough stuff going on in this beat 'em up. Once again, we're having a conversation about this. Okay, they're comparing it to Elden Ring or Diablo, which are not the same games. I've been told, like, Black Myth Wukong is not a Elden Ring. It's not a Souls game. It's a beat 'em up and like an action game that is more akin to like Devil May Cry or whatever than it is to actually like Elden Ring. But because everybody wants to compare things to Souls games now, any kind of combat game has to be compared to like a Soulsborne game, instead of it going, is it actually that, or is that just what your comparison is because you haven't played enough games to actually compare this to anything different than that. Okay, and obviously Diablo is an isometric top-down game that has a very different player base, has a very different way of approaching it than you would with Elden Ring or Devil May Cry. You know, if that sounds familiar, I'm echoing what Paul player. And then to try to defend Starfield, which is a totally different game. Starfield is supposed to be a first-person interactive like world that has a ton of characters and side quests and abilities and things like that. And people played it and they said, yeah, it's kind of broken and it's kind of boring and it's pretty mid-game. Nobody said that the game wasn't lively. They said it was mid and it had a bunch of bugs and a bunch of issues. So like, I think continuing reading down this person just spends a lot of time arguing that they didn't have a good time with the game. They didn't think the game was very good. And so that leads them to have a conversation about the fact that they think that what's happening is that the Chinese government somehow, and then, which I wouldn't put it past the Chinese government, but then also gamergaters are getting together and pushing this game and trying to gas this game up so that they can get some kind of like cultural win. They're like, oh, look, we'll play this mid-game, and if we gas it up and talk about how good it is, then, like, that somehow beats the anti-woke narrative. That's not how this works at all. Like, that's the thing. Once again, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You cannot say that people in Gamergate are a small vocal minority that have no power and have no, ability to do anything, and then argue that the success of Harry Potter or Hogwarts Legacy is because of gamergaters and anti-woke narratives. You cannot argue that gamergaters have no space or ability to change things or ability to affect games or ability to affect the success of a game or the success or the failure of a game and have no ability on that, and then also turn around and say that they're working with the Chinese government to somehow gas up Black Myth Wukong and buy it. That means that they literally have the ability to affect the market. They can choose whether a game lives or dies based on whether or not they buy it and play it. That's not how that works. You can't be a vocal minority of people and then somehow buy enough of a game to make it wildly successful and break a bunch of records. 2 million people is a lot of people. There's over 2 million people playing Black Myth Wukong on Steam alone. And you're going to say, well, it's a vocal minority? That is not a vocal minority. That is a lot of people affecting a game. This guy here, what article is this, chat? Bear Thing Show, it is on, oh, fucking hell. I tweeted it out. You can go look at it. It's on Inverse. It's an opinion piece by Shannon Lau about Black Myth Wukong and how they think that the Chinese government and gamers are somehow working together to gas this game up so they can somehow beat the anti-woke narrative, which is fucking wild. The wild ass thing to say. Gay Carpenter for $10 says Journey into the West is like Star Wars for the Chinese. It is in a lot of books and TV in Asia. Now outsiders try to change it to their desires. No wonder the freak out. Yeah, 100%. Mike, these people don't know how to count, right? Harry Potter Legacy had a non-binary character 100 years before it made sense to please wokies. Yeah. Hogwarts Legacy also had a trans character in it, you know? But the fact is people were excited about the game and people didn't care about the controversy. That's really what the difference is here, and that these people don't seem to understand, is that it's not that the controversy probably did bring in some people to buy the game, more people than maybe would have originally, but the reality was people have been wanting to play a Hogwarts game and a Harry Potter RPG for a long time. It's been a thing. So and it still has a huge fan base, still a marketable franchise. So you do a game that's set in the Harry Potter universe and it sells like hotcakes, surprise, surprise. They're pissed because they told people not to buy it because they're mad at J.K. Rowling for being a transphobe and a homophobe, and people didn't listen. They went out and bought the game anyways, and they're sitting there screaming at people. Remember, these people, these that are supposedly in the majority, went around on Twitter and went around on gaming platforms like YouTube and Twitch and harassed players for playing the game. Targeted harassment of players that were playing Hogwarts Legacy, despite it being massively popular. If these people are in the majority and they didn't buy the game and boycotted the game, there should have been a massive dent in their sales. Once again, proving that they're not the majority, they're actually in the minority. Where they're claiming we are. Stuff's wild, man. So yeah, I do got to get wrapping it up. But I just think that those were a couple interesting stories to talk about. I think we're going to talk more about this gaming thing because these game journalists are really trying to push this narrative. And it's funny that one side is getting attacked for misinformation, while another side will continue to make wildly inaccurate claims about a group of people and say that they're this thing or that thing, or they're guilty of this or that. It'd be completely wrong about it and still remain employed. Wild shit, man. So, all right, guys. I was going to try to stream Fall Guys, but I'm still trying to figure out how to do all of that because I'm still a boomer when it comes to technology. So, be sure to just watch over on Geeks and Gamers Play. I don't know if it's going to be on Jeremy's channel. I don't know who's all streaming it tonight. I think it'll be on Kick, Geeks and Gamers Kick. I think it'll be on Geeks and Gamers Play. I think it'll also be on Geeks and Gamers Twitch. You can go check it out. We're going to be playing Fall Guys. Madam Savvy's going to be joining us. But it's going to be the typical group of people, but it should be a fun time. Fall Guys is new. We haven't played this in a while, so I think it'll be a fun time. I'll obviously be screaming and swearing at everyone around. So guys, I appreciate you though. We're going to call it here. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow we will be doing more Sneak Meek, no more killing dogs, no more eating dogs. Okay. We're going to just be playing Metal Gear Solid 3 and having a good time and eating snakes because it's called Snake Eater. Okay. But guys, last night's stream was a blast. So I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to get going. Go check it out. Have a good time. Oh, tomorrow's Tuesday. Okay. Never mind. Tomorrow is not Wednesday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow we'll be doing Tuesday night's main event at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then right after Tuesday night's main event ends, we'll do Tuesday night's cooldown. So maybe we'll talk more about gaming journalists then. So tomorrow, Tuesday night's cooldown. Then Wednesday we'll do more Sneak Meek. And we'll do like a big solid chunk of Sneak Meek. Okay, not a solid chunk of dog though. We're not eating dogs. Ronaldo A. Ramirez, last super chat here, $5 USD. Mike, I think if Black Myth didn't get hyped up by the culture war, this game would have still gotten sub 1 million. I don't think so. I still think it would have been successful from word of mouth. It might not have popped as hard as it did in the beginning, but I still think it would have been a wildly successful game, especially because there's a lot of Chinese players that are excited about it, and because they've been talking about and marketing this game for a long time. So I don't know though. We'll see. All right, guys, I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Go check out the game. Fall Guys. I'm gonna go get set up for this right now, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you all later. See ya.